Shimano getting away from their RP or road performance nomenclature for shoes a couple years ago came out with the now S-Phyre or S-Phyre, whatever. So far been a great shoe. I'm pretty happy with it. An RP9, I believe. I have the other shoe. I did a review on it. I have an older RP7, and then I believe the RP1 was the top of the line at the time, and now they've gotten rid of that shoe, and they now have the S-Phyre, which is their highest end race performance, whatever you want to call it, shoe. It's the lightest shoe based on their stiffness scale. It's the stiffest shoe. Let's start first with the fit, because the shoe fits. Wear it. You may notice, especially if you're coming from a Bont like I am. In the past I wore Bont, but I've changed my fit to where a Bont doesn't fit anymore. It has this kind of cup design where it's one piece, and it's got some flex to it up on the top. On the bottom seems pretty stiff, and I believe the carbon fiber goes all the way through there. Let me get the insole out. Yeah, so the carbon goes all the way through, but it's wrapped in some kind of composite material to cup the heel in, and it feels pretty good. On the RP9, they have like that cat's tongue grippy stuff. This has like a reverse felt, so going down it's smooth, but you feel like there's a friction against that stuff coming up, and I feel like that is a better option than the cat's tongue material. It seems to give me some good heel lock. I don't ever feel like my heel is lifting, but it also doesn't irritate me like the cat's tongue did. Cat's tongue? Like the cat tongue stuff did at first. Toe box is not on the wide side. I wouldn't say it's a full-on narrow toe box like some of your Italian shoes might be, but it's a narrower toe box. Dual BOA. They got rid of the ratchet or Velcro on the RP9's Velcro and BOA, and they used to run Velcro and ratchet on the old RP9 and RP7s. So they've upgraded, gone all BOA all the time. One thing they do on this is they offer two ways to adjust the fit on the front of the shoe, and I'm not sure if I can tell the difference. On the forward BOA, you can set the cable to be adjusted two different ways. One, the way I have it, is how they say is for a wider foot. It makes the toe box feel wider. And so on this one, you connect the cable in there. Let's see if I can lock this guy in. Connect the cable in there. Let's tighten her up. And this setup is supposed to provide a narrower toe box. I've left it open because I'm used to a wider toe box coming from Bont. And I'm not sure I could really tell the difference. I haven't spent a lot of time on that one, but they say there's a difference. Whatever. As far as fit, it locks in pretty good. I feel secure. I don't feel like I'm getting squeezed too much in the toe. Although I did put a shoe stretcher in these for about a month before I wore them to really break in that toe, because the way my foot is sized, I can't generally get right into a 48, and a 49 in Shimano specifically is too big. I keep a pair of 49s around for cold days, and I wear a thicker sock, so it's not squeezing me and cutting off circulation, but I can't directly get into a 48 in Shimano. Now, getting it on and off. I will say this is the first thing that I'm totally excited about this shoe that I really dig. This is hands down the easiest cycling shoe I've ever had to get in and out of. Just pop this open. I think it has to do with, a big part of it is the rear BOA isn't doing a complex run like the front one, and a lot of shoes where that's doing multiple curves creates a lot of friction. So when, with this shoe, I just undo it and pull the shoe off, and it opens up as I'm pulling it off. It comes right off. It's fantastic. Because I think that's a big part of it, is this isn't too complex and there's a lot of room there, so it just flies right open. Getting it on is equally as easy, so really cool. I've had some shoes that are trickier to get on. Currently, the current Shimano RP9 is a pain in the ass to get on, mainly because the neck is grippy. So on and off, piece of cake. Adjustment on the fly is a piece of cake. I'm good for a couple, 2-3 clicks in either direction on a given ride, depending on how my feet are feeling. Let's talk construction. It's a synthetic upper, and you're thinking, oh, white shoe, that's terrible. Right now I probably have 2,000 or 3,000 miles on the shoe, maybe a little more than that. And the white, I will say this, if you can't really probably tell by the camera, it almost has a light iridescent pearly kind of vibe to it. It's not pure white, but it cleans very easily. So when it gets a little greasy bits on there, it cleans very easily. So I'm pretty happy there. I don't normally wear a white shoe. I like colors, and red specifically goes with our kit really well. But I'm enjoying the shoe as far as the cleanliness of it. It stays clean. Like I said, it's a composite wrap around a carbon footbed. So the main structure of it is carbon, so it's very stiff. It's not Bont level stiff, which is like a carbon tub, which is super stiff. But it's plenty stiff, and you know, they've kind of covered some of the carbon with some more composite material. So this is one piece, this white piece all the way around composite. I've got this vent taped up because it's wintertime here, and I don't want to be cold and wet in there, so I tend to tape those up during the winter. So one piece composite, and that brings my first complaint about the construction of the shoe, and that is this toe bumper is not replaceable, because this is all, you know, this is glued on. This is one thing on the shoe, so this isn't replaceable. So that's probably, when it comes time to retire the shoe based on construction, the thing that's going to wear out is the shoe you unclip at lights and stops and things like that. Your toe is eventually going to wear out. The rear bumper, at first I was like, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, bummer, that doesn't look replaceable when I got the shoe. But when you look on the inside, there are 2 screws in there. This rear heel pad is replaceable. I think that's important on a shoe, especially if you want to get a lot of miles out of it. A little bit of mesh right here. And lastly, it does vent really well. Most of those dots you see on camera, most of them, not all of them, are in fact holes. They're not straight through holes, but there is a mesh. This mesh continues on behind it. So it does ventilate quite well, similar to the RP9. Very, very well ventilated shoe. Did well in the summer here in Texas. Now let's talk setup. I've moved to Shimano, and I said in the RP9 video, I've moved to Shimano for a reason that has been really helpful for me, and that is the way they set up. And you can't see it because I have my cleat on here right now. But in a typical road shoe, you have 3 holes. That's it, 1, 2, 3. And then you put your cleat on there, and with a traditional like SPDSL cleat, you know, you might get a little bit of wiggle room to kind of adjust it, maybe a little, and some wiggle room this way to adjust it, but you're pretty much left to what the cleat will do, you know. So you might get 10 or 12 millimeters fore aft, and maybe 5 degrees either way, so a total of 10 degrees of rotation when you put the cleat on. That's a traditional setup. You're used to seeing that. What Shimano has done is you have the same 3 holes, but they're in a channel, and that channel gives you 20 millimeters or so of fore aft play. Similar to a mountain bike shoe. If you also mountain bike in mountain bike shoes, usually it's 2 holes, and that guy goes fore and aft. So it's a fantastic setup for a more modern fit. If you're subscribed to more of how shoes are fitting lately, or how we're getting fitted to bikes on our pedals, especially if you have a bigger foot, you tend to want the cleat farther back. I run it a good 16, 17 millimeters behind the first metatarsal. That's where I run the pedal axle. And it's easier to do. I still use an extender plate just because I want to match the fit on some other shoes I have in terms of the whole stack here. But I don't have to use the entire length of the extender plate to get it where I want it, where with other shoes I got to put the extender plate on there and use everything that extender plate will give me. I hope more shoe companies move to this setup where they're putting a little more adjustability into it. It does create some compromises in terms of they probably have to reinforce the bottom more to create a bigger hole, but there's got to be some weight added on there. And that's fine, and I'm bummed that I'm not riding Bont anymore, because I love Bont. They're the lightest, stiffest shoe ever that you can just straight up buy. That's not custom, but getting it fit to where I fit the bike now, it's just not going to work. Quick look at the insole. It's pretty generic, and like most companies, they're giving you a couple options of arch support to put on there. I have huge arches, so I actually have them both on there, the yellow and the red. So the yellow is Velcro's on real nice. You may need one or so, and then I've taped the red one below that. So I need a little bit more arch support than it gives me right out of the box. I have monster arches and big feet, but overall, great shoe. I would highly recommend it. And right now it's January 2019. There are deals to be had because they're slowly rolling out. It's going to be very hard to find the newest version of the S-Phyre, but this shoe is easy to find. I mean, you might be able to get this pretty close to $200 or $250, considering I believe these launched at $400 and the current one is going for around $400 or $399 or whatever, wherever you are. I'm talking US dollars. So great shoe. Who should be looking for this shoe? If light and stiff is something that really matters to you, you want a light, stiff shoe, it's worth looking at. There are more comfortable shoes, if you're a more casual rider. I haven't any problems on this on long distances. I've done 7-hour or so rides on it, and I haven't felt that it's any different in terms of long-term comfort than the RP9 that I'm also riding most of the time. So who's it for? If light and stiff matters to you, go for it. The added cost is not, I'm going to say in terms of on the bike feel, is not revolutionary. The only advantage I feel like I'm getting with this shoe over the RP9, apart from just some weight, is it's a little easier to get on and off. It's not a game changer, but it's a solid shoe. So if you like it, it's sexy, it's good looking, I'd rate it. So get on it if you can get a deal. I'm not sure it's worth $400 for the newest one. I guess this is the 2017 or 2018 model. The 2019 one is on the way, so look for some deals for this guy.